Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Students, can you all hear me? Just confirm me. Can you all hear me? Hello, friends. Are you able to hear me? All right. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we are starting today is day 2 of P3 webinar sessions. And the P3 webinar sessions are actually, these are practice to pass sessions. And today's agenda is June 15, question number 1. I have already told you people about the this question, and I have mentioned that this question is perhaps the one of the deadliest question proven till date for P3 students. So I'll start with it. I hope you all are ready for June 15 question number 1. So here it goes. June 15 question 1, part A. First we will go through both the requirements, and then we will switch to the other part of the question, that is the actual discussion of the questions. So here's question number 1, part A. Write a briefing paper required by TUTIL. The briefing paper should analyze the macro environment factors affecting TFS mobile operator industry. The factors, environmental factors. They're not just environmental factors, these are actually macro environmental factors. So yesterday, you remember that you must recall that when we studied yesterday, in yesterday's session, we studied about how to break the requirements and how to give the headings. So the first part says that A1, more appropriately A1, that's actually macro environmental factors. And macro environmental factors are basically pastel factors. A2, let's see what's there in A2. So A2 says that analyze competition within the TFS industry. Okay, which industry? Mobile operators industry. So mobile operators industry is actually the industry which is in focus, which is on focus in this question. So moving on, conclude with a summary of the opportunities and threats identified in the analysis. So let me summarize this over here. Macro environment factors refers to pastel factors, right? Competition within the industry. This refers to 5 forces. Am I clear? Once again, I'm asking, am I clear? Are you all with me? Just to check out. Thank you. Moving on. A3, the third requirement of now, the A3 says that summary of the analysis done above, that is opportunities and threats. All right. Now let's move to part B. So this requirement is of 14 plus 8 plus 4 makes around 26, and then 4, 30 marks. 30 marks. Quite a good number of marks. Quite a good number of marks. These are not less number of marks. It's a very good number of marks are there. So it means that this paper, this is not a very simple or very easy requirement, because when in general an external analysis has to be done. In general, external analysis has to be done, and the external analysis is now switching from just 14 marks, then to plus 8, 22, and then plus 4, and then plus 4. That safely means that the question is challenging for the students. When the students were dealing with this question in exams, the students had to actually be very much show presence of mind. This question required a lot of presence of mind, because this is straight away not a simple question. Why is this not a simple question? For example, if the requirement in this place, if we assume that requirement A, part A is asking for 5 marks, and the other part is also asking for then 5 marks, and 5 each is going on, then I would have said that okay, 15 marks, not a big deal. But if a student has to write straight away 26 marks, except for, I'm not including the 4 marks of professional into this. If a student has to do 26 marks, and the 26 marks relate to the external analysis, no matter it's about pestle, it's about 5 forces, it's about opportunities and threats. Despite of the fact that there are so many other things, but still, my friend, this was a technical requirement. So I must say that that students had to show, and they some of them, I think I must say some of them, right? Because in June 15 question 1, many students got stuck in this particular requirement, and they faced serious difficulty in dealing with this question in the exam conditions. I'm not saying that it was never doable, but it was definitely challenging in exam conditions. It wasn't clear. It was definitely challenging in exam conditions. Since it was definitely challenging in exam conditions, student should know that what's the difference between pestle, what's the difference between 5 forces, and what is the difference between what is actually opportunity and threat. Because a lot of students have misunderstood the requirement, that they thought that summary of the opportunities and threat identified in the analysis is something different. But what I must say was the factual thing is, or perhaps was that whatever was done in part A1 and A2 was actually supposed to be given back to the examining team in A3 in the form of opportunities and threat. Before I proceed with anything, I must say that I will give a quick summary, a quick recap within few minutes of pestle, of 5 forces, and of opportunity and threat. Shall I give a recap? Do you all feel that I should give a recap in 2 minutes? In 2 minutes or so? Do you feel that? Shall I give a recap so that you understand what the question talks about, what the question actually want to be done? Okay, then I'm starting, because the students are saying yes, so I'm starting the recap. Okay. And you will stay with me, right? I will ask you question at every single step, and I want answers from you people. I hope you are ready for this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So first of all, there are 2 types of analysis: internal analysis and external analysis. The internal analysis refers to the analysis of the company, which is just of the internal part of the company. What does this mean? The internal part of the company. Actually, the internal part of the company means that the analysis of what's inside, what's good inside, what's positive inside, and how do we see what's positive inside? We see what's positive inside through perhaps you may say that we see positive things through so many ways. And how do we see that? We actually see that through, for example, what's internally good. Let's say if we see that if something is internally good, it means that internal good thing must be a good cash flow, or perhaps a brand name, a loyal workforce, a patent or any technology, right? A patent or any technology. So the next thing is you may find things which are negative to the company as well. The things which are negative to the company are maybe or may refer to those things like for example, negative things may be the poor operating conditions of the company and the poor situations of the company, or the poor leadership style of the company, or poor working capital conditions of the company. And this all is actually the internal aspect of the company. But internal aspect is not the only aspect of the company. Rather, external aspects also need to be addressed, because the company doesn't operate in isolation. Rather, the company operates in coordinated fashion. The company needs to understand things. The company needs to get things done from the environment's perspective also. Therefore, we cannot say that if the internal things are good, then the rest of the other things will also be good, right? We cannot say that if the internal factors are good, the external factors will also be seen as good. Because what happens is, when the things are positive inside and when few things are negative inside, you need to have a good mix with the environment too. For example, if you have very good cash flow, but the market has got no opportunity to invest that cash flow into the market, then this strength is right now of no use for you. Because if you have got cash flow, you're not actually having a good opportunity to put your cash into those businesses. In the same manner, if there is a very good competition going on in the market, there is very high competition, and practically competition is a negative factor. Competition is a negative thing, and competition is something which is negative. If you think that competition is going on, if you think that competition is very fierce in the market, there is a cutthroat competition in the market, but at the same time you have got the resources, you have got the competencies, and you have got all the things that you require to fight in that competition phase. Like, you have got patents, you have got license, you have got good high skilled loyal employees who are technically innovative, who are good and generative in their ideas. Then I must say that, and then you must understand that this particular analysis will actually let the company know that what to do and what not to do. So moving on to the pestle factors, and the pestle factors refers to the macro environment factors. Pestle factors refers to the macro environment factors. And how do we see the macro environment factors? The macro environment factors are those factors which are the factors which affect the environment generally, right? So those factors which affect the environment generally are known as macro environment factors, right? So those factors which affect the company negatively are called macro environment factors, and those factors which do not affect the company negatively, and I'm sorry, those factors which affect the company in general, irrespective of the industry. I repeat, those factors which affect the companies irrespective of their industry, irrespective of their size, those factors are called macro environment factors, because these are the factors which affect the company because they exist in the market. No matter pharmaceuticals market audit and accounts market, cement industry, no matter which industry is there, but every industry will be affected by the macro environmental factors. Every industry will be affected by the macro environmental factors. So macro environmental factors are 6 in number: political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Political is about how the changes in the political environment will gonna affect the company, whether positively or negatively, and so on. Next are those factors which are called economic factors, like the economic downturn in the economy, or the uprise in the economy, or the economy is stable, or the economy is in slum. So in what phase the economy is currently, that those factors are known as economic factors. In the same manner, the social factors are those factors which actually refers to those factors. Social factors are those factors which actually refers to which actually refers to those factors which relate to people and the public of that country. For example, uh, for example, if there is a company, I'm coming to the point. If there is a company, now that's very important. Keep your ears very open and very loud. I repeat, if there is a company and the company is selling fashion goods, right? And the social demographic feature of that particular state is about uh, is mostly about youth, and they like changes, and they like uh, fashion, and they like updates. Then in such cases, I repeat, then in such cases, remember, then in such cases, it will be a positive factor for the company. That is social factor. Now moving to technological factor, I think that will come with the caution. Environmental factors or ecological factors. Ecological factors refers to the, for example, factors related to the greater environment, that is the land, minerals, oxygen, air, and the other species in the world, right? Moving on to the next thing. The next is, my friend, legal factors. Legal factors refers to the laws and regulations that may affect the company, whether positively or negatively. I repeat, that may affect the company, whether positively or negatively. Those factors which may affect the company, whether positively or negatively, will be known as legal factors. So the legal factors which relates to laws can be positive or can be negative for the company. If they are positive, then they will be the factors. If they are positive, then they will be the factors that like if they are the negative factors, then they will be called threat. If they are positive factors, then they will be called opportunity. Moving, all right. Uh, whe- how to find out where to use pastel and where not to use pastel, and where to use you may say, um, 5 forces, and where not to use 5 forces. So I am coming to it, and I expect you to now digest it, because that's very important. That's very important, right? Moving on. Point number one. If there is competition analysis requirement in the question, if the question says that analyze the competition in the industry, if the question says that analyze the competition in the industry, then the question is actually asking you to go for 5 forces. I repeat, if the question asks you to analyze the 5 forces, to analyze the competition in the industry, then remember, the question is actually asking you to analyze the 5 forces model. Remember, If the industry competition is high, then the attractiveness of the industry will be low. Remember also remember, if the industry competition is low, if the industry competition is low, then the attractiveness is high. Then the attractiveness is high. I repeat, if the industry competition is low, then the attractiveness is high. But sir, why the attractiveness would be high? So the answer to it is, the attractiveness would be high because, I repeat, the attractiveness would be high because there is lesser competition, and since there is lesser competition, you don't exactly need to fight much, and the things would be available for you very easily, like profits. If you will just give some efforts, then it won't give much difficult time to the people, and that would be very easy for the company, right? That's the main logic. Moving on to the next thing. Now, this is fairly more important, right? Five Forces has got 5 things to consider: bargaining power of customers, whether customers have got the power to dictate their terms; bargaining power of suppliers, whether the customers have power, whether the customers have got power to suppliers have got power to dictate their terms. In the same manner, my friends, in the same manner, whether the next thing will be whether the whether there is a threat for new entrant. For example, if the chances of the entry of new entrants is fairly easy, then it must says that it must say, then it must be possible. I remember. I repeat. If, for example, if there are low barriers to entry, there are very, very low barriers to entry, then it would be really, really, really difficult for the company. I repeat, if they are, my friends, if there are low barriers to entry, if there are low barriers to entry, anyone can get into the industry. Anyone can get into the industry. Then it must mean that this would be a threat if the entry barriers, the license cost, or the size of investment is too high. If size of investment is too high, then remember, my friends, it would be not easy for anyone to come into the industry, right? And therefore the threat will be low. So in short, the next thing is threat of substitute product. If there is a substitute product of your product, if there's something if there's something in this world which can substitute your product, then remember, the threat of substitute product may also be high. And the threat to substitute product may also be high in a way that if the substitute has got the ability to meet the needs of your customers, if the substitute has got the ability to meet the needs of your customer, your existing customer, then remember that definitely, um, the threat of substitute product would be high. The threat of substitute product would be high. So I move on to the next thing. Final thing is competitive rivalry. And what is competitive rivalry? Competitive rivalry, my friend, is actually competitive rivalry, my friend, is actually the number of players competing in a particular market, right? The number of players competing in a particular market. If the number of players are competing in a particular market and they are large in number, then remember, the competition would be high in the industry. If the number of players are low, comparatively, right? If the number of players are low in the industry, then it can be safely said that the competition is also low. So the higher the number of players, higher the competition, and higher the competition, higher the higher the um, um, happiness of the customer, because customers get happy, customers remain happy in the situation when the companies fight on the competition, because the companies fighting on the competition will definitely bring innovation, and when they will bring innovation, they will definitely bring something new and new and new, and they will definitely fight over price. So that would eventually lead to betterment of the customers. I think I'm clear on this. So let's move on now. Final thing is opportunities and threats. Remember, anything positive in the company is opportunity, and anything negative in the company, anything positive for in the environment is opportunity. Anything negative in the company is a threat. Is it right? Jasia, please wait. Please wait. Anything positive in the environment of the company will be called a positive thing. Anything negative in the environment will be called a threat. So everything and anything that is present in the environment, it can be a factor from pestle, it can be a factor from five forces. So if any factor from the market is either positive or negative, I repeat, is either positive or negative, any factor from the market, either positive or negative, will have an effect on the company. If the factor is said to be positive, it will be called opportunity. If the factor is said to be negative, then it would be called a threat. Is it all right? Moving on. So, coming back to the question. Everybody is clear about this. I've given a very short, quick recap. I tried my best to keep it very, very brief, and that's why I was limiting myself in so many instances. Now, Bismillah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So requirement A asks you for pestle, then it asks you for five verses, and then it asks you for summary of the above, that is opportunities and threat. It means for 14 marks and 8 marks, that is for 22 marks in totality, you will work on something. And once you will get done with 22 marks, then you will switch to a 4-mark summary of this. Now, the requirement part B, I would require you all to read this first. Come on, read this. Have you read the requirement, my friends? Okay. I want you all to write down in the chat box what have you understood from the requirement, from reading the requirement. Come on. I want you all to actually tell me what you people have understood from the requirement. Come on. Actually, this requirement says that there should be no construction of a decision tree. Rather, there are four scenarios: acquire and gain license, acquire and not gain license, bid directly and gain license, and bid directly and not gain license, right? There are four scenarios. Now the requirement says that evaluate every scenario. So evaluation is done on two bases. One is the financial side and the other is non-financial side. One is the financial side and the other is the non-financial side. All right. So when when you will solve this requirement, you will have to actually give four headings. Am I clear? Don't go into technicalities that you go for SFA model or you go for any other model. No, keep it of all the four strategies and refer to this and ignore all the other things, because these things, the pros and cons would be enough to answer with respect to this requirement. So therefore you do not need to go to other models and make it complicated for yourself to score or to secure a pass mark in this 20 marks requirement. Am I clear to everyone? You are not supposed to use any model. It is perfectly okay to not use any model, rather go for pros and cons discussion or a financial or non-financial discussion. I repeat, there are four situations and the situations can be dealt in many different ways. For example, situations can be evaluated using some models like SFA model, etc., etc. Or the same situations, four scenarios can be dealt using another approach, and that another approach, my friends, is to go for financial and non-financial evaluation, and the other approach is to just go for pros and cons, and that's same as financial and non-financial evaluation. So I must say that I would recommend that when you can see that in this requirement B, there is no named model. Rather, the requirement is saying produce the evaluation of each scenario as required by tutel. Therefore, it means that no specific model is required. And as long as no specific model is required, why should we bother ourselves and why should we put our things into ambiguity and make things difficult for our own selves? Rather, we should do one thing and we should stick to that, and that is what, and that is, my friends, actually switching to I'm sorry, actually just going for evaluation of every scenario, right? And evaluation of every scenario, and that too based on financial and non-financial analysis. An ideal way would be perhaps to to first do the financial numbers analysis and then go for non-financial analysis. For example, you may carry out for financial analysis, and then once you are done with financial analysis, you may give comment to the non-financial analysis. Are you getting it? All right. Let's move on. So the next The next thing is whether a decision tree is required or not. The decision tree is not required in this case. The question is specifically saying that the question is specifically saying that construction of a decision tree is not required, and ignore the time value of money in your evaluation. When the question is saying that, you are not supposed to do that. All right. So you don't need to make any type of decision tree diagram. Rather, you need to actually just give 4 headings, and that's it. And go for evaluation. I think I've pretty much explained that, and I should now switch to the answer. Am I clear? Just tell me, am I clear to everyone? Am I clear to everyone? So, thank you. Thank you so much. The most technical part in this question, I would ask you whether part A was difficult for these students or part B was difficult for these students, where there was financial evaluation of the two proposed entry strategies with 2 outcomes in each: acquire and gain license, not acquire and gain license, bid directly and gain license, and bid directly and not gain license. Right? So where there were 4 situations in this question, and come on, I want you to tell me which part to start first. Shall we go for part A or shall we go for part B? Which part to start first? Come on. All right. So the students are saying B, 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 and few are saying A. All right. Let's see what's there for majority. Part B is, I believe part B is definitely technical. It's definitely technical. Now, okay, we'll start with part A because part B is time taking thing. So we should give a lot of time to part B and make it very easy for students. My next point is, tell me, are you done with the reading of the question? So I should start going through the financial calculation and commentary over it. Shall we go for it? Are you done with the reading of the question? Please be honest and be very clear and transparent. Okay, so I think majority is done with the readings. No, still, Shadab, you are not done with reading. Anna Mushanjay, you are done with reading. Meenakshi Pullet, you are done with reading. Tariq Azim, you have read half. Jabbar Muhammad, come on, you definitely need to have a look at the case, because without that you cannot understand. I will just give a recap of the case, and recap would be for those who understand, who have read the question. I cannot read the question right now on the screen because it will take a lot of time, and we wouldn't have much time left then for discussion of the answer. So with your consent, right? With your consent, I am switching to answer. Are you all ready? Or perhaps you people may switch to the reading in the prayers break and see what you can read in 10 minutes time. Now, Tutel is one of the largest mobile network operators in the world. It was the starting that Tutel is a mobile operator in the world, and Tutel is working in the market very well. Now, TFS, the Federated States, TFS, is a state where the licenses are about to be awarded. Now, Tutel is currently evaluating this opportunity and is considering either bidding directly for a license as Tutel or to acquire another company over there, um, and then bid as an existing company. The existing company to purchase has got some details. For example, that company would be named as Teamy, right? So Tutel has got an option to go directly into the industry, and the other option is to go through purchasing Teamy and then bid for the license. So the summary is there is a country known as the Federated States, and in that country, there are licenses to be awarded, and are these licenses are available to be bidded. So the company can bid from a fresh company, or the company can or the license can be bid through another approach, and that other approach is purchasing an existing company over there, and then once the company is purchased, the bidding is done through that particular company, and that particular company's name is Teamy. After that, TFS, the conditions of TFS is given, right? On the first page, the conditions of TFS are given, that what's actually happening there in TFS. So the first page is about pestle, right? And then it will gradually move towards 5 forces. From here, it's very important to read. Communication network licenses are granted to mobile network operators for an 8-year period. So the contract period for the licenses are 8 year. All right. I know you people are getting it. 8-year period. And then the companies need to meet a certain criteria. For example, liquidity and gearing, environmental criteria, etc. Successive governments of TFS have enacted environmental legislation and set environmental targets such as carbon emissions and recycling rates, which all companies operating in TFS have to achieve. Moving on, there are 4 current licensees, and these are the 4 highest bidders in 2009. So the last time the licenses were given were in 2009. All right. During the license period, no new network operator can enter the market. Now, it's just a point that the threat of new entrant is low. But for how much period? But for the period of license, and that period is 8 years. For 8 years, there will be very less chance of new entrants to enter the market, because less chance, practically zero, because they cannot bid, because the entry to market is subject to bidding. Come on, students, either say yes or no on the chat box. I want an interactive session, please. All right. All 4 licenses are of similar size. Their names: Ztel, Teamy, Tello, Connect. Their names are in front of you. Then the licenses are due to renewal in 3 years' time. All right. So data as per 2014 is here. And in 3 years' time, the licenses are due for renewal. At present, now, point to understand is, they were given the licenses in 2009. Now it's 2014. So data as per is on 14. So in 3 years' time, 9 plus 8 makes 2017. All right. here it is. At present, the rules for license granting are exactly the same as they were before. Some government ministers are unhappy about this. All right. And then there is a point to understand, and the point to understand is very simple. The government has already stated that any of the current licensees which fail to be relocated a license will be paid 100 million exit fee. For example, if there is any new licensee who is granted the license comes into the industry, that particular licensee would be given 100 million as an exit fee. For example, you are losing the license, you are working with us, and you worked with us for 8 years. The government is giving you a good farewell, a good respect, and they are asking for the newcomers to give those who are not getting the licenses 100 million as an exit fee. All right, and for them it is an exit income. Next, this will be paid for by the company which is replacing them. And now understand that, and here you're understanding that this is something which is to be paid. Next, the network operators are monitored by a regulator, OFNET. The name of the OFNET is here. So if OFNET is the company, OFNET is the regulator, so OFNET would regulate what's good and what's bad for the industry. Moving on, a few students are asking about the questions, and again I would request them to please pay attention on the lecture. You want important questions, then just come at the end of the webinar and take questions from me or ask me on the WhatsApp or Facebook or email, but please do not disturb the webinar. Those who are taking these webinars and those who have passed through it knows the importance of this. Moving on, the prices are agreed in a series of meetings between the regulator and the licensees. So pricing is based on the discussions and would remain same. Poor signal coverage is the most often cited reason for customers changing service operators. This is the reason why people switch, why customers switch. So their switching cost would be or their customers or the customers' bargaining power would be high if there's some or any problem with the network, with the signal coverage, with the reception. Mobile devices in TFS. Yes, Jasia, we will give namaz break as we have given yesterday, but namaz break would come after 15 minutes. All right, because I want to start the answer, and before that I wouldn't go for any namaz break, or I would not actually give namaz break, right? So 15 minutes after I will give the namaz break. For those who want to go for Maghrib prayers, because it's 15th Shaban, few people would want to go, they may view the lecture later on. So moving on, mobile devices in TFS. TFS is the country where actually now Tutel is trying to move, right? Is it like that? So this is all about how the people support it. Are they used to it or not? And this is once again relating to part A of the question. Moving on, research into the tendering process. Now this too is important, right? Research into the tendering process. Tutel has commissioned research from Professor Tin of Midshire. If you have not read the question, but you have read this particular area, I'm telling you, you can at least solve part A, part B with me. This is very important. Within 2 minutes, I want the reading of this to be done. This much only. Only this much. Bid price is 550 million. 4 licenses. Probabilities are based on 4 licenses. If bidding rules are not changed, then every bidder has 0.4 probability. If their bid is for 550 million, if the bidding rules change, then the current license holder has 0.6 probability. If they bid 550 million for the licensee, that's obvious. A new bidder has only 0.2 chance of being allocated a license if they bid 550 for the license. New bidder. It will cost current license holder 10 million to prepare a bid for the license. But for the new bidders, it would cost them 20 million to prepare their bid. Tutel is particularly interested in acquiring TME. Tutel is particularly interested in acquiring TME. Now that's very important. Please stay here. It's very important. I think the last 3 paragraphs should be read by you people directly. Please, come on. So done. 100 million net profit per annum for the final 2 years of the current contract. So there is a parent contradiction. It says that there is time for 3 years. But no, the exact time, the question says that's more clear and more obvious, final 2 years of the current contract. This compares with TME's current net profit levels of 80 million per year. Alright. Future efficiency gains will lead to 120 million net profit per year for the 8 years of the contract. Alright. And then an initial approach to TME has suggested that an offer of 400 million for TME would be accepted. I think that's very simple. The same net probability for the contract 8 years at 120 million per annum is also expected if Tutel decides not to acquire Teamy and is successful in a direct bid for a license. Am I clear? Finally, finally, we are done with the reading, and I, I I tried my best to include and participate and make every student participate and engage and eventually pass the exam, because this was the most deadly requirement part B. Most deadly requirement part B. So I think the call for prayer is here. We will take a break, but before that, we are not taking break directly. I am writing down my WhatsApp number once again. I wrote it yesterday. This is my WhatsApp number, and on this number you can approach me. So we will switch to answer of this question, but directly switching to the answer of this question wouldn't give you much benefit. Rather, I would suggest that the best part would be that you switch to the your register and make a plan and do some rough working to actually see what is required, what is required in this question in part B. So let's take the namaz break, and then we will be coming up after the namaz break, and we will go for this complete analysis. Right? Alright, we'll go for namaz break now, and see you all after the namaz break. Thank you. Welcome back, friends, after the namaz break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, it's time for discussion of the answer. My friends, there are four types of cases in this particular question. The first case was actually about acquire and gain license. Then it was like acquire and not gain license. Then it was bid directly and gain license. And then bid directly and not gain license. So let's start now. First of all, acquire and gain license. You don't need to write the winning case that I have written. I want you all to copy it, right? You all are expected to copy it, right? You all are expected to copy it. Because copying it is important for you people. Look at here. Case 1. Acquire and gain license. Acquire what? TME. Gain license, it means it is the winning case. Are you getting it? Outflows are matched with the inflows. Outflows are matched with the inflows. Because we need to get it done financially first. So the outflows are written here. Outflows. Exit cost is not accounted for here because it's TME before and after. You're not supposed to actually copy it or write it in the exams, right? I have just written it to show people that this doesn't need to come. So exit cost is not accounted here because it's TME before and after. You don't need to write this. You don't need to write this winning case. This is just for the sake of explanations. All right. Now, moving on. The cost of purchasing TME is 400 and the bidding cost is 10. Yes, the bidding cost is 10 is coming from the caution. Look at this. It will cost current license holders 10 million and for new bidders it will be 20 million. I am showing live on screen on real-time basis. I hope you all are here. There is no message in the chat box. I don't know where people are. So 10 million is the cost for existing bidder, existing license holder. And who is the existing license holder? The existing license holder is TME. Alright. Moving on. The contract fee is 550 if the contract is awarded. This is only paid if the contract is awarded. What does it mean? It means that it is not payable if the case is not of gain. If the case is not gain license, then this wouldn't be considered. Am I clear to you all? Moving on, contract fee is 550. Is this coming from the question? Oh yes. Here it is. Current license holder, and here is the bidding fee, 550. Come on friends, tell me, are you all getting it? Are you all getting it? From where I am getting the figures? Oh, why 550? Alright, no problem. See, what does the question says? If the bidding rules are changed before the next license allocation to favor current license holders, then the current license holder has a probability of 0.6 if they bid 550. And the bid price is not just given here. Using a bid price of 550 is also given here. So the bid price, the value with which the company needs to bid is clearly mentioned, is very clearly mentioned, right? So 550 is the bidding price. I hope it's now clear with you all. Moving on. The next is total outflows comes to 960 negative. So 960 negative means 960 million outflow, in which case acquire and gain license. Alright, and then moving on to inflows, profits for the remaining 2 year, 200. This is as per question. I am not writing it. This is as per question. And then profit from the new contracts, 120 into 8 years. We just discussed that before the break. And then now exit income. Now come on, how this income is included? How this income is included? Come on, who will explain this to me? Who will explain this to me? Anybody who is here and who can explain this to me? Why? Why, my friends, why? Come on. Shadab. After 8 you will get it back. Alright, Shadab? See. Assumption is this, that after 8 years new license holder will come. So after 8 years, 100 million will be given to the one I'm sorry, excuse me. So 100 million would be paid after 8 years. Now the next is, if the 100 million is paid after 8 years, you know what would that mean? That would mean that these will be paid at the end of the 8 year, and therefore there must be some time value of money. But when we refer to the question, it says this: Ignore time value of money. Therefore, we are not considering the time value of money, and we are directly taking 100 million. I'm sorry. We are directly taking 100 million as an exit income, and the total inflows are now 1260. The total inflows are now 1260. Am I clear? So, moving on to the next option. So the net gain or net loss in this case would be, so the net net gain and net loss in this case would be 300 million. Am I clear? We'll put it in a table. Acquire and gain license 300. Keep ticking it so that we are sure that we are done with a particular thing. Alright, we have done this. Moving to the next thing. Case 2. Acquire and not gain license. Acquire and not gain license. So, what's in that? So this says that cost of purchasing TME would definitely be occurred. Alright, 400. And then bidding cost is 10 because acquire, because you are an existing bidder, existing license holder. Contract fee is 0 because the company has not yet won the license. 410 is the total negative outcome. 410 is the total negative value. Next, inflows. Profit for the 2 years, 200. From the new contract, 0 because the contract is not awarded. So therefore no 8 years. And then exit income, 100 million. Are you getting it? And then this 100 million is total 300 million. So 300 versus 410 makes 110 negative. Makes 110 negative. And we will put a tick over here. Alright. $110 is the correct amount. Now, moving on to the bid directly and gain license. If the company goes for bidding directly, then the bidding cost is 20 because it's the first time the company is bidding it, and since it's the first bid, therefore they have to incur the cost of 20. There can be so many reasons to this, and that's not a problem to understand. So I move on now. 20 million bidding cost. Contract fee is 550 because we are considering that we have won the case, and then exit fee is payable to you because the exit fee is payable because the company is supposed to be replacing some other company. Am I right? The company is supposed to be replacing some other company, and when the company is replacing some other company, it shows that because directly bidding, it's the case of direct bidding. So when there's direct bidding, it shows that so if there's direct bidding, it shows that you do not have existing license, and you are a fresh company coming into the competition, so therefore you need to pay for some company who will now leave the market because of your selection into the market. Is it clear up to here? All right, thank you. Inflows. Profit for the remaining 2 years, 0. Why? I need to know why. Why? Why? Because we are not in market, right? There is a question whether we need to perform all these calculations in exams. Yes, there are a lot of marks for that. Now, profit from the new contract is 960, same as before, and exit income 100. Now, exit fee payable is 100 and exit income 100. Now there must be some confusion with the students, amongst the students, that what to do, whether to consider it, whether to consider exit income in every situation or not. So I want a very good answer from you people, that why exit fee payable and exit income both are coming in this case. Come on, students, I want answer from you people. It's new license. Muhibur Rahman, you may try more. We are a new entrant. When we are entering the business, when we are getting the license, we are the new company. We do not have got existing license. Therefore, when we will come into the market, somebody has to go and some company has to leave the market. When some company has to leave the market, then it can be safely said that if some company has to leave the market, then it can be safely said that that you will have to pay for when they are leaving the market, then you will have to pay. On the other hand, when you're leaving the market, you're getting the 100 million back because you paid to the other party because they were in difficulty, they were not given the license, and you won the license, but now it's not the case. Moving on. So the net gain in this case comes to 390. The net gain is 390. I'm sorry. The net gain is 390. 670 versus 1060. Trija Rao, you asked me about why is it 0. What are you asking about, Trija? What is actually your question? I told you yesterday it is a challenging question in exam time for students. I believe that we would only be able to complete part B today, because there are next steps to this part A as well now, part B as well. This is not just the end. Profit for the remaining 2 years. Well, Trija, how can we include profit for the remaining 2 years when we are not in the market? We are bidding directly in this case, and so once we will get into the market, we will earn the profits, and the profit for the remaining 2 year should have been and was included in the acquire and gain license. You remember that? Okay. The next case is the net result is 390. So all right, it's time for 390. Let's tick. Now moving on. After 390, bid directly and not gain license. Kamran Salim. No, Kamran. I think, Kamran, you are confusing something with the other thing. You may redraft and rewrite your question in detail, and then I'll respond back to you, inshallah. Continue. So, case 4. Bid directly and not gain license. Bid directly and not gain license. So I continue now. Bid directly and not gain license actually refers to no cost of purchasing TME, only 20 million bidding cost, and the contract fee is 0 because the contract has not yet been won. If the contract is not won, then it's 20 and the bidding cost is 20, and that's the only cost. I hope you people are getting it. Bidding cost is 20 and that's the only cost. Whereas when we see the net inflows, so Mavish, there are no inflows because you have not yet entered the market. Are you getting it? So since you have not entered the market, how can you get something out of that market? Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Everybody is ready to move to the further working of this part B. I'm telling you, this part B will immensely help you, inshallah, when dealing with question in exam. Okay, somebody is requesting that can I have access to your answer slides? Yes, I can share these slides with you over WhatsApp. So give me a reminder on WhatsApp after 11 p.m. tonight. Thank you. I hope today's class is giving you some good learning and you're getting revising something about your cost benefit analysis, which may come like this in the exams. Okay, so the case 4 says that 20 net. Now there were 2 different situations mentioned in the case. One was that the bidding rules will not change. that is that they will remain same. And the other word that the bidding rules will change, that is that they will not remain same. I repeat, the bidding rules will remain same. The bidding rules will not remain same. Bidding rules, whether they remain same, whether they do not remain same, whether they change, that's very obvious that this calculation will not be changed. Are you all getting it? First of all, I want your input. I don't want a silent class. I don't want silence right now. I want your input. See, the case says that there are two situations. One, one that the bidding rules will change, and the other is that the bidding rules will not change. So if the bidding rules change, what does it mean? Yes, Kamran, you are right. Jasia and Mavish, have some patience more. You will understand this. Whether bidding rules will change, whether bidding rules will not change, these are the calculations based on the cash inflows and outflows. And we have not taken the probabilities out. We have just merely clearly, simply calculated the numbers. First, the numbers are calculated. Then the probabilities are applied. Are you all getting it? What is done on the first basis? Come on, tell me. The numbers are calculated. And then what is done? The probabilities are applied. Alright? Now, case 1. The case says that bidding rules will not change. Come on. First, have a look at it. Now, who can tell me from where this point 4 and this point 4 has been calculated? And why this is called expected value? Come on. Come on. I want your answer. I want your answer in the chat box. Come on, quickly, please. Shall I show you the screen? Shall I show you the screen of the question? Okay. Look at this. Come on. Every bidder has a 0.4 probability of being granted a license if their bid is 550 million. Every bidder has a 0.4 probability. Are you all with me? Come on. I want your response, please. Your response is important. Come on. Are you getting it? Every bidder has a probability of 0.4 of winning their bid. Is it clear? Okay. Now see, how many cases were there? 4. Acquire and gain, acquire and not gain, bid directly and gain, bid directly and not gain. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 cases. Now, case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Is it the calculation that we have done before? Now, here are the probabilities. 0.4, 0.4. Because it's gain, it's also gain. So when the case says it's gain, the case mentions that gains mean that gains refer to acquire and gain license or bid directly and gain license. Are you getting it? Since it's about gaining license, that's simple. It's not difficult to grasp because the requirement is the case. The data in the question is saying that every bidder has a 0.4 probability of. Then every bidder has a 0.4 probability of what? Come on, of what? Of winning the bid. Is it so? Is it clear? So, moving on. Thank you so much for responding. Today, you people are taking so long. I don't know. You people must be busy or not comfortable with the chat box. If you are viewing the webinar on the cell phone, you might find it a bit difficult to chat if you're not used to of that. And that might not be the case with majority, I hope, because these days everybody is quite frequently used to of chatting, and therefore it's not difficult for them to chat with the teacher. Now, moving on to the working. So 300 was the net gain calculated, and then 0.4 was the probability. All right, and it comes to 120. It's a really tough question, I'm telling you. In exam condition, it's not an easy question. It's not at all an easy question. The part B is the toughest. Part A is comparatively nothing. Part A is comparatively nothing. Moving on. Next. When the winning part means 0.4 probability, then obviously the losing part would mean 0.6 probability. Alright, so here it is, the 0.6 probability, and here are the figures. Are you getting it? Further on, next thing. Now it will be about this. This was about bidding rules will not change. But now I will switch to bidding rules will change. Alright? So here it goes. See friends, we have very less time left with today's session. Please focus and please remain participative. I will share the slides with you, but please focus on the screen right now. Alright? You all are on the WhatsApp group perhaps. Come on. Bidding rules will change. And this probability is now changed. This probability has now changed. Earlier the probability was different, and here the probability is different. So the probability here is 0.6, 0.4, 0.2, 0.8. I wouldn't put more time on this. I've given a lot of time. So I would say this is coming from question. So those who have read it, they know I have also highlighted it. So the values are now 0.6 into 300, 110 into 0.4, 390 into 0.2, and 20 into 0.8. So 180, 44 negative, 78, 16 negative. And in the above case, it was 120 positive and 66 negative, 156 positive, and 12 negative. Bidding directly is favorable. Look at this. It is apparently favorable in terms of financial results. Are you getting it? It is apparently same based on the financial results. It is apparently same. Now, which one is the best? Acquiring TME. Now listen, acquiring TME is favorable. Can anybody tell me how is it favorable? How is it favorable? 300, look at this. 300 into 0.6 makes 180. And the 180 is the highest. So in terms of financial calculation, acquiring TME is favorable. Acquiring TME is favorable. Are you getting me? Come on friends, are you getting me? How we came to the conclusion what's best financially? According to the expected value. Repeat with me. According to the expected value. According to the expected value. Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay. Now, moving on. Once we are done with this, I will try to share the slides on the WhatsApp later on. All right. So, but in fact, I will share right away after the end of the session on the WhatsApp group. Right away. Uh, right after ending the session, right? Now, how many of you really felt that these slides, be very honest, please, huh? Please be very honest. These all workings, case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, then building rules will change or not change, the workings will remain same, and then building rules will change, then putting probability and will not change, will change putting probabilities and will not change putting probabilities. Uh, how many of you think, honestly speaking, how many of you think that this is really a tough question? Really a tough question. Because sometimes, but I tried my level best to explain it as slowly as possible. I tried my best. Did you get around 60% of what I delivered? Did you like the way I explained the question? Your feedback is very, very important, my friends. Your feedback is very, very important. Thank you. Is this working clear? Because in exam answers, in the passive answer, the working is not clear. Now, I tell you, this is the extreme of the difficulty level that a financial question can be set in the P3 exam. Perhaps. I expect you to go to your study tables later tonight and do the following things, and you will, inshallah, get the best. This is my WhatsApp number. I repeat again, this is my WhatsApp number, my email address, email ID is same for contact and Facebook too. Shadab, you are asking that what is the probability of this sort of requirement being set in June exam? Well, that's clearly a matter of luck, but I believe that uh, a requirement of lesser difficulty level, somewhat lesser difficulty level, similar to this, can be set up in the exam. Yes, can be set up in the exam. No other question from entire P3 past papers list is up to this mark. Yes, no other question from the entire P3 WhatsApp, P3 past paper, but none of them are up to this mark. None of them. For those who are not on the WhatsApp group, shall message me privately on this number, and I will ensure that I will inshallah ensure that I will add you into the group, and that's not difficult. You will just message me and I will put you in the group, right? Or I will share the link that's the way I shared yesterday. Alright, friends? So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Tomorrow's agenda, yes. Tomorrow's agenda. I would recommend I would recommend question 3 and question 4 of December 15. December 15, question number 3 and question number 4. Inshallah. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you, ACCA Pakistan, because they are arranging this session, and these sessions are Jabbar. What are you asking, please? Please repeat your question. Thank you, everyone. Jasia, Jabbar, Neke, Anna, Mavish, Saqib, everyone. Thank you so much. And inshallah, we will continue tomorrow with December 15, question 3 and question 4. Today was really a tough agenda, and you people showed good courage. And remember, there is no one best way to do such questions. Rather, such questions are only delivered in the exams based on what you think at that particular point of time. Thank you so much. December 15, question 3 and 4 would be tomorrow's agenda. You must go through it. Jabbar, Jabbar is asking for the solution. Jabbar, bidding directly is favorable if the rules do not change, and if the rules are changed, acquiring would be the option. Thank you so much, friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Keep me in your prayers tonight. Thank you so much. I wish you all the blessed month ahead. I wish you all the best in the exams too. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you in everything that you do. positively. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.